A famous Hollywood celebrity claims that he was denied an apartment because of racial discrimination. I'm going to tell you why that's probably not the case. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News.
Such a blessing. It was more than just a job, it was more than just a film. I knew we were going to make a cultural document to honor all of those nameless and faceless people.
All right, so I have an interesting story for you today, and it's coming out of New York City, and it has to do with a Hollywood celebrity who claims that he was denied an apartment due to racial discrimination. Okay, and I just don't believe that that is the case. Okay, we're talking about it is 2024. This guy is wealthy, he's famous, and there's a lot of good reasons why he probably was rejected. It has absolutely nothing to do with his race. Okay, and so you know what? I hate it when there are people who are insistent upon, they believe they are the victim. They believe they're a victim and that everyone is working against them, and they are unwilling to look at themselves in the mirror in particular and say, hey, maybe I wasn't the best candidate for this unit, okay? Maybe this landlord had other reasons to reject me, okay? And if they never specifically said that it was because of your race, you cannot just make that assumption, okay? It is stupid to do that, in fact, okay? And it is a defeatist attitude. You know what? The only thing you're going to do is give yourself stress and make yourself a victim when you do that sort of thing, okay? So first of all, we should set that aside. We should set that aside and just face the fact that, hey, there are certain people out there in this country and they believe that everything is tied to their race, and that if they, if somebody looks at them wrong, it was because they were racist. If somebody doesn't give them the promotion, they were because they were racist. If they get denied anything, if they lose in any sort of way in their entire life, it is because of racism. Well, I don't like that sort of attitude. I think that is a defeatist attitude. I think it is, honestly, I think it's sad and pathetic. I think it's sad and pathetic, okay? If there are real cases of racism out there, then they will be very, very obvious. And this isn't one of them. This isn't one of them at all. Instead, this is a wealthy person who is entitled and acting like a spoiled brat who thinks that everything should be handed to them and they should never, ever not get what they want. And then when they do, they must hate me. No. Absolutely sad and pathetic. And you know what? I'm going to stand up for the landlord here because you know what? There's absolutely nothing in this story that suggests otherwise. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, okay? So I want you to wait until after I get through this story, explain exactly what happened, what it says here in the story, what this guy himself is even saying, right? And then let me know if you believe maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something and this really is a case of racial discrimination, okay? But, until I get through the article, if you wouldn't mind just putting a like and a subscribe and, continuing to follow my channel. I got interesting stories like this and I've got a lot more coming, all right? So anyway, let's get into it. This article is coming from the HuffingtonPost.com and it says, Wendell Pierce slams a landlord who rejected his rental bid. Racism and bigots are real. The actor was denied despite proof of employment, bank statements, and real estate holdings, and went on a viral call to action against racial bias. Like I said before, okay, multitude of reasons why this could happen. And, we got to keep in mind where this is happening at. New York City, okay? So New York City, as everyone knows, a very, very diverse place, okay? Filled with people of all different ethnicities, immigration histories, sexual preferences, religions, etc. The thought that in New York, of all places, this isn't like, this is some small town in the South somewhere, and this is a landlord who, owns one property and doesn't ever see anyone of it. No, this is a place where likely this landlord has, a large percentage of other tenants who are also black. Okay? I mean, very, very likely that This isn't the first black tenant that this landlord has ever seen before. No. So what exactly could cause this sort of situation? That's what I'm going to get into as we go through it. But anyway, let me get the story first so that you know exactly what's going on. Wendell Pierce is defending his righteous anger about racism, detailing a personal situation in which he says he was denied an apartment because of his race. The award-winning actor has graced countless Broadway stages and starred in iconic TV shows like The Wire, but shared Monday that even so, he was rejected as a potential tenant in a New York City apartment building in gentrified Harlem. For those of you who don't understand my righteous anger, Pierce wrote Monday on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, I'm on 2 TV series, Elsbeth and Raising Kanan. I'm filming Superman. 2 years ago, I finished the 4th season of Jack Ryan. Last year, I finished a run on Broadway in Death of a Salesman, he continued. Even with my proof of employment, bank statements, and real estate holdings, a white apartment owner denied my application to rent the apartment in Harlem, of all places. Racism and bigots are real. So, I know generally who this guy is. I haven't seen any of the shows he's in, okay? But I have seen his picture before. Yes, he is famous enough so at least, if I saw him on the street, I probably would recognize him if he, looks like he does generally, okay, in the TV shows, right? But I have never seen any of his work, right? I've heard that, he's a good actor, but that's about all I can say. So he's not a B-list or any of that stuff, right? And I'm not denying the fact that, he probably has good income, good assets, and all of that, right? But think about what we're talking about here, okay? New York City, Manhattan in particular, right? A very upscale version of Manhattan. So when you're talking about the tenants coming into a unit to look at, an available unit, we're talking about there are very, very qualified people coming in. Extremely qualified. So if you're talking about, okay, we've got people over here, we got, I want to give you an example, a personal example. When I was renting a home here in Omaha, Nebraska, right, I literally had a doctor's family come in. I had a active duty military person with a large, housing allowance come in. I had a retiree who showed me his 7-figure bank account come in, okay, to rent my house. This is in Omaha, Nebraska, okay? I had more qualified applicants than I knew what to do with it. It was just me picking and choosing which one is the best, okay? And I had to turn down like a doctor and the military, like people who had guaranteed income, people who had way, way more than what I required. And it felt bad, but I chose an extremely qualified candidate who lived in my house for 2 years, never missed a month's of rent, always paid on time, kept the place in excellent condition, and I was perfectly happy with that selection, okay? So when it comes down to this actor here, right? Extremely qualified tenant. Remember, you're not the only person who is applying to live in this unit. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of qualified tenants in a place like New York who might want to live in this specific area, who are willing to go above and beyond to prove themselves, right? And I've heard all the stories about how in some cases people are willing to pay a little bit extra towards the leasing agents or to the landlords or whoever it is necessary in order to get into a unit in New York, okay? Because the market is that competitive. So while I know that you're qualified, you got everything there, right? Somebody else might have been willing to go even further, like saying, hey, you know what? Maybe I can slip you a little bit extra and get me up in there. Or they might have just been more qualified or been a better pick for what the landlord needed in the unit at that point in time, okay? So sorry you got rejected. Okay, I've been rejected for housing before. You know what I did? Brushed it off and went and found somewhere else to live, because as qualified as I am, it's not like it's very hard for me to find somewhere to live. It's just I might not have gotten the very top pick that I wanted at that period of time. Okay, so like I said, I don't believe that this is racial discrimination. I believe that, he is butthurt. He's butthurt because, yeah, I am famous. Like, to me, a lot of these stories that you hear about all the outrage and, supposed racist stuff going on are celebrities who got butthurt that people didn't bow down to their entitled butts, okay? And that's what it sounds like this situation is here right now, okay? So let me read a little bit more from this article. The Wire, which spurred Pierce's career, famously tackled systemic racism and political corruption. The actor argued on social media Monday that some people just want to destroy life's journey for black folks. He used his experience as an example of the ongoing problem of racism after an appeals court blocked investments in businesses owned by black women. Yeah, I don't think that your personal situation has anything to do with any appeals court decisions or any of that stuff, right? Only thing that I can say is that there are plenty of black people in New York who have housing. Probably, like I said, this landlord has plenty of other black tenants. And so what the real problem here is that you personally got rejected. I wish this guy would watch this video, because you know what? I think he's an entitled crybaby. That's it. That's all you are, is an entitled crybaby. Grow up. Grow up. Face the fact that sometimes you don't get what you want. Okay? I faced that fact a long time ago, but that's what a normal average person who isn't super rich and super famous has to face. Okay? Anyway, if you want more of this story, I'll put a link to the article in the description down below, and let me know what you think in the comments of this whole situation. Is this guy, is he right? Am I wrong? Yeah, let me know what you think.